Hello. The drawing of the Mark III. My buddy drew that. Um, I found another picture online that had a printer and a computer. And I was like, can you make this look like this printer? And he's like, yeah, I can make that look like that printer. So he redrew everything. Hey, everybody. Welcome to, was it Wednesday now? Wednesday, March something, 2019. Yeah, that flat design's super cool. That's why I was like, I have to have it done. So there's a whole bunch of people in chat here. Brad, Steven, Patrick, Phil, Mr. Ghost, Roga, Benjamin. May have already said Phil, but it's already Phil. It could be Phil. So some of you may noticed I started a Patreon. And that was a sticky quandary for me because there's a lot of people who are like, hey, Chris, you should have a Patreon. And I'm like, I don't want to hide anything behind money. So the majority of what I do are things that I share freely. So it's like, oh, here's a slicer profile for a filament. And, you know, like I've been doing, I just posted the one for this atomic carbon fiber CF. And I'm like, well, if I hide this behind money, that sounds a little greedy. So I've never wanted to do it. And I never had a good way to make a Patreon. Like, what can I do that has an incentive to people for them to want to put money towards it that doesn't also include me hiding things? Because I don't want to hide things. Because that's one of the worst things I see. I mean, I don't mind it for artists where they're, you know, putting in hard work and there's a tier where it's like, because, you know, like I just printed this lino. This was a $10 tier on Veterans. But that makes sense. He put time and effort to make this, and he makes it exclusive. So this makes sense. When it comes to something like a profile for a printer that can help everybody, which has always been my kind of goal, is to help everyone. You know, as a designer, you're not there to design so everyone can print things for free constantly. You have to feed yourself. So I'm sitting there like, well, how do I do things that don't hide stuff? Hey, what's up? And I sat down and I finally came up with something I thought was interesting. And it kind of goes with that same, excuse my messy desk. There's a point to this messy desk. That's why I didn't clean it up for the one time for a show. Was, you know, I sat down like, well, there's all these projects I want to do. And I have a hard time. As you can see, this is my desk normally. I've got the new bearings I'm working on, these Vesconite bearings. Yeah, here they are. There's the Vesconite bearings. I'm working on this project. There's some new bearings to test. And I've got those IGUS bushings and the seals and the IGUS bushings and the not seals. Then I've got test prints from Veteran. Here's Fat Man. Did a Fat Man. Oh. And his Robin, which turned out super sexy. And you saw the Lino. I have even more Toxic Avengers in other cool colors. I have some new filament that came in. I have this CFPTG profile I was working on. I have that clock thing that you see on the Thingiverse. I got that going. There's, oh yeah, under here's the Duet Delta being. I just finished getting the board done, so that's ready to be maybe assembled. So that was my thing. I was like, man, it sure would be nice to know exactly what to do. Because I have all these projects, and they don't always get done in a reasonable amount of time, because I'll start something, and then somebody will say something on Facebook. I'm like, oh, man, I should totally do that too. Thumbs up, everybody. So I was like, well, maybe that's what I'll do with my Patreon. Maybe what I'll do is continue the community thing. So community, but then also give them the voice. So instead of posting constantly to Facebook, you know, in my like random thought process thing, like, oh, I got this in, and then the next day I get something else in, and I keep posting it, then nothing gets done because I keep, hey, that Prusa wall is going to be done. I've got everything ready for that. But what I was going to say is I need some direction. And the direction that I need is great to come from the community. So the Patreon is really an outlet for those who want to follow along in the process more so. So, you know, like I, you know, made this CF profile because, well, I'm still testing nozzles. So I was like, well, how well does it print CF? So I made a new profile because it's been a while since I've made a specific profile. It wouldn't it be nice if we could direct Chris in a way where he could make a profile based on what everybody likes. So there's already a poll on the next profile. And the next profile that's winning right now on the Patreon is Flex PLA, which I bought some. And I forgot to dry it, and I was testing it, and the print came out like poop. And instead of drying it and continuing, instead of drying it and continuing the project on learning how to print the Easy PLA or the Flex PLA, I just was like, oh man, I'll go work on something else. So you guys are my credibility, my lifeline, my direction, my compass. That's a word. You're the compass. That is the way I go. So that's one that's winning right now. So maybe we'll have a Flex PLA profile. And then I wanted to give an incentive for a higher tier. So everybody on the Patreon gets to vote for general things like what's the next filament that I should make a profile for, which is really easy. It doesn't take very long. It's just picking one because, as you see, this is the stack of filament that came in the last Accountability Buddies. Oh, man, I should change it to Accountability Buddies. To have all these filaments I'm testing. Like, I actually did make an HT PLA. Oh, that's the purple one over here. That's the HT PLA profile. It doesn't take long. It really doesn't. I just print way too much with it and then release it. You know, I've got some... Well, this isn't really new. This is just PLA, nothing fancy here. But yeah, so the general populace there, my accountability buddies, that's such a good word. Kevin's going to get a shout out if I can remember that. Well, it's in the video, so I can rewatch this video. Kevin Clack gets a shout out for accountability buddies. I love it. And then when, let's say, like if Flex PLA does win this next, should end in 6 more days, the poll, then the higher up tiers will choose what brand I buy. Now I've already got one, but I will order another one. So that way we can get, you know, a popular brand and everyone else can try it. And I can send these profiles, you know, like let's say if we pick a brand, if other people want to buy that filament, and I can post like a beta variant of the profile to get a better, you know, better kind of like idea of how good that profile is doing, then heck, even better. Instead of, again, I would cloud the Facebook group with this because I would get halfway there and then I'd just get behind and I'd be like, I'm just doing it by myself because I got behind on stuff. So, because again, you can see my desk of awesomeness. I mean, there's a multimeter. I've got prints. I've got half done stuff. And Justin 3D is still trying to get his 2.5 bear to calibrate. Hey, what's up, Tristan? So I'll get to the chat in a little bit. The other thing is it's not just going to be profiles. So the Patreon will have other things. So you'll have voices in like which bearings do you want done. I'm definitely going to do these first because they excite me the most. But you know, I'll be able to post things on which bearings. And then once we finish my long list of things that I've bought, like I've got, let's see if I can name a few things that nobody knows that I'm working on, but I haven't posted because I get excited and I post it. I never finish it. So like I've got Antonio's board. It adds to the Mark IIs, the Mini Rambo, and adds silent steppers to it. I've got that project in the works. I'm in the middle of making firmware for the Einsi Retro, which is basically the Einsi board, the Einsi Rambo board, but it still has all the connections that you'd use for a Mark 2.5. So basically, I'd love to make a Marlin firmware that works stock with that board to work on a Mark IIs or a Mark 2.5 even, and then you have silent stepping and all the other features, and it's 12 and 24 volts, so you get to keep your fans at 12 volt versus going to 5-volt fans on the Noctua and all that fun stuff. So that's actually would be a fun project. So that's the big difference in tiers is Phil's asking. So the big difference is really going to be what you ask. So everyone in general gets to ask, like, okay, we're gonna work on this project, and then when it comes to the project, the higher up tiers will vote on the things that we get for the project. So you've got the whole team working to figure out what we're doing, and then you got the smaller team that's investing a little bit more effort, a little bit more money, are going to vote on the exact things that we do, and that way everyone will, have an individual voice. Plus, there'll be other things. I'll throw in random things for different tiers. I'm definitely do more like as more. I think we're at 40 something patrons already. I posted it yesterday, and it kind of, I went crazy. But like at 50, we're gonna do the next video. So I have a list of videos I want to do, and I've already got some recorded. The tiers are simple. That's $1, $5, and then there's a $10 superhuman. So you're just extra nice. So I try to keep it low and not like something crazy. And then also I already posted on the Patreon link. So if you go to the link, there's a thing. It has Lino's chest as the picture. You'll see the little Thundercats logo. You'll see the logo on the thingy. And if you go to that link, it'll tell you how the money is going to be used, because there will be a transparency thing. So any and all money that comes in will only go towards projects that we work on. So trying to be as transparent and not hiding anything behind paywalls type deal. I mean, there'll definitely be some exclusive, like when we work on stuff, things I post will go to the Patreon for patrons. And then when it's all done, like let's say we finish a profile and all that fun stuff, that will be released everywhere. So it'll be released, on the Facebook page, GitHub, wherever. But the process in getting it to work and such, and like bad test prints will be posted on the patron page for the patrons. That way I'm not, again, muddying, because it's so random now. I feel like half the time I'm posting a 1 quarter done, a quarter finished project, and then I kind of disappear on it, and I go, here's another quarter finished project, and here's another quarter finished project, and then I eventually finish them. But I'm definitely not keeping up as, I don't have the accountability buddies. I don't have any friends in Rockford sitting there with a cattle prod, like going, Chris, hey, what about that thing that you're working on? I'm like, I got all these other things that I decided I wanted to do. So, oh, Kevin, accountability buddies. Yeah. Other than that, I think that's basically the premise, is to just have a hub for the people who want to have a little bit of say in what's going on in the projects that I'm working on. And also, help me stay focused on projects every month that benefit the community, without having to hide anything from the community, because this will also make it easier. Hopefully, this is in my brain. This may not work out, but I'm hoping that since I'm going to keep track of the process more to share with the patrons, I can then easily transform it into a blog post on the prusacommunity.com website. So that way there's more information for everybody. So, you can always ask questions about Prusa stuff. I'm never going to hide that. Again, that's another thing I don't want to ever hide is, just post it to the Facebook group and hopefully I see it if there's something that we can't figure out. Jake from State Farm. So then I do have a couple things that I am doing special. So at 50 patrons, we'll pick the next video. And then I've already posted for everybody that's on Patreon. That's so weird. Your patrons on Patreon. Yeah, I've already got that started on the Prusa community page, Brad, where I've got a bearing cleaning one and belt tension. But yeah, it would be really nice to do that too. And that's something that, we, again, can choose like, hey, what's this maintenance thing we want to work on? And that'll be the nice direction is we'll be able to actually maybe, every month have some content for everybody that's related to what you want to know. Because the slicer profiles are easy. At least, I can do that in a few days. Things like maintenance and stuff, that's easy too. I've got plenty of Prusa printers to take apart and, do a cleaning or, atomic pulls. And I already have some videos that I've already shot and have to be edited still on some topics. So, and I also have what else is on Patreon right now is I'm giving away this set of carbon fiber Prusa Mark III's parts. So all I have to do is say, yes, I want these parts in the comments. Or just comment, I think I wrote. Just comment. And that enters you into, I already got the Y-axis done. I've already got the X-axis done, and the Z-axis is done. Right there's the LCD screen is printing. So, yeah, someone will be a lucky winner in these very beautiful focus. There you go. These very beautiful carbon fiber prints, which you can see are super pretty. And they're strong, I think. I haven't broken them yet. And I don't want to try because that means I got to reprint it. But they're strong. Strong enough. Looks pretty. I'll take it. So yeah, there's already a few things for patrons. So I'm a very nice man. That's not what my friends say. So yeah, and the reason I'm giving away is I think I mentioned that. Oh, this is much better to talk in like this. Let me take that in there. Oh, there we go. Is my stock Mark III's, now that it's a Mark III's, I want to keep it as stock looking as possible because it's my printer to do things that look stock. So if I swap them over to these carbon fiber prints, which I used as my test for the filament, that's going to be silly because then it won't look stock. So they're better off going to some human that can use them because I'm just printing them to print them because I'm trying to run 1 kilogram of CF material through that new nozzle that I'm running. So we'll see if it dies. The nozzle might die. Who knows? Probably not. I don't think it will. Then it's printing wonderfully, so that's good. I got 3 Mark III's kits in because that's what I ordered, and I should have 2 more coming because Prusa had promised all the beta testers of the MMU2 to send more kits. Well, if you're a human that can use them, go on the Patreon and tell me that. I think you might have. That name seems familiar. I'm just learning how to use it. I'm over here like pushing buttons, and people are messaging me. What else? Hey, I have a Nozzle X. Super Happy George. That's a good name. Oh, and Hawk Proto's in here? Hawk Proto. Oh man. All right, so let's move to the chat. Ask your questions. I am here for answering questions. How long? 20, maybe 30 hours. 30 hours on Patreon, maybe 40. Yeah, since yesterday. It's just something that came to my brain where I was like, man, I finally think I have a Super Happy George. Patreon is for people who want to donate money to someone that they believe should have some money to do things. Typically for artists, people donate, that gives some money to artists, and they make things like Vedran will make these amazing models, and he'll release certain ones specifically to his patrons. For me, it's going to be about having a voice and direction. So that's why I made the lowest contribution amount $1. So you don't really have to invest a whole ton, you know, $12 a year, and you help Chris get things done that you want done. Well, I don't mean to do better than anyone on Patreon. I'm sorry, Hawk. Yeah, just in 3D. I've had it where it won't XYZ calibrate, and usually that means a length is off somewhere. Now on the Bear, there's, if you assemble the length of the vertical frame wrong, because there should be, I believe it's 106 millimeters from the back. You should have that vertical, the Z frame installed. If that's not correct, it might mess up. So, I do what I can when I have direction to do so. I think that's the moral of the story today. Even though it's been a crazy day. I got my hair, my head shaved. My beard is finally short again. I no longer look like a homeless man. It's wedding season. Can't have that super crazy thing. Currently printing parts of the Bear build. I'm a little confused, all the different extruder versions. The extruder version shouldn't have any difference, Tristan. The only difference in the Bear is there are Mark 2.5 parts, which are, yeah, there's Mark 2S, Mark 2.5, and Mark 3 parts. I don't think he has anything for Mark 3S, but I believe most of the parts work. So on the Bear, he's not going to change anything on the extruder besides adding the filament sensor. So it'll work. I guess all the rest of the parts will work on the Mark 3, Mark 3S. Hawk, there's already a printer right here. This other project I'm working on is a Anycubic Castle Linear Plus Variant 2 that I'm doing a duet board on. I just finished getting some multi-jet fusion parts. So here's a multi-jet fusion extruder I had printed. So I can put a V6 extruder on there. Actually, a V6 light extruder. But then I'm sitting here contemplating upgrading the whole thing to a duet effector with magnetic arms. And then it's very inexpensive to raise the Z height to about double. So I might have a really tall delta when I'm done with this. So it's again another project that's on the table that hasn't moved forward. Besides getting the duet ready, the duet's good. I've got everything set. I just need to do a jumper on the where's the probe? There's a Z probe that attaches magnetically that I need to do some wiring. Some Gwildor. There is no SLS that's affordable. No, that was 51. I disappear for a minute. That was 51 patrons. At 50, I'll release a new poll for what the next YouTube video will be. So I'll gather up my long list of videos that need to be done, and I'll throw the poll up. And people can continue to vote. And as I check things off the list, you know, people can continue to vote, and then we can get closer to what the next videos will be versus me just going, I just do this today. Hopefully I finish it. Oh man, you can't access the grub screw? Did the grub screw get what is that thing called? Did it get stripped? Because normally it gets really tough with those tiny little set screws. Never use a rounded the ball head. Don't ever use a ball head on those tiny grub screws because it tends to strip them out so quickly. So I just use the regular one that came with the E3D V6. If that's what happened, I have no idea because you haven't said. Yeah, the SLS is insane. And I love multi-jet fusion because you can have colors. So I got that one in gray. It normally comes in black. Photon, how's my Photon? Is my Photon bad? My Photon just died last month again. And I have 2 print projects that I have to do. So I need to figure out whether I'm going to just get another SLA printer or spend the money to fix my Photon again. So, yeah. Who SLA versus SLS? I'd rather take SLA because it's actually affordable. You get a Photon for $500 and it does magic until it dies. It's actually a really good printer. I've had a lot of really good luck, and then I've also had some bad luck with my Photon. But the majority of people have good luck with it. So I will be getting an SL1. It's just when in the world will it ship? Because it hasn't shipped. And a Moai, it was also on my list. I would love to get a Moai. The new giant one looks amazing. The Moai 200 or something. I have been so not focused on other printers. I have been looking at other FDM printers because I want to add a Core XY. So the Railcore has been like taking my attention away from things. Let's see. So Tristan, I think what you're talking about is the actual BMG extruders for the Prusa, which they do come in different versions. And for that, they're all the same, but some come with motors, some do not come with motors. So if you get the, no, not that. Yes, there's a kit that doesn't come with a motor. There's a kit that doesn't come with Bondtech gears, and there's another one that does come with Bondtech gears. Because you're gonna, if you have the Mark III, you can just take the Bondtech gears from that. So you want the Mark IIS variant, which will come with the Bondtech gears, and then it's the exact same thing. So it's the same. Yeah, Prusa shipping. Justin 3D. I have no idea what died on my Photon. It's not the screen; it just won't turn on. So either there's something wrong. It's so easy to fix too. So, see you, Mr. Hawk. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, Wexter did. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Once we get to 100 patrons, the world will have this. Hold on. It's a little print of me. There's me. It's me, Mario or Chris. So. Once we hit 100 patrons, this STL that's been hidden from the world will be released to the world. This is, by the way, printed in the algae filament. I bought a roll of that. And it has a very interesting scent. It has a very cool look. So it's that. Yeah, the algae filament. So you get a little spool of algae filament. So do I smell like algae too? I guess if I take a bath in the lake, possibly. Mini Chris looks like he's angry. He's like, grrr, my print turned out poopy. So, yep, Mini Chris will be active at 100 patrons. So, But yeah, I just really wanted to test that algae filament, and it makes a really good test print because it's round, and circles are always the hardest things to print on a printer, and there's overhangs. So this makes a really fine little test print. 3D printing llama, Wexter should be popular. That guy, I mean, here's the Toxic Avenger. Here's Lion-O. And then Lion-O is so good. So awesome. Like, I really like the Lion-O. STL is coming. And Fat Man, he just released that the other day. Fat Man looks super cool. And Robin. So, yeah, he should be super popular. Oh, yeah, he had mini He-Man and Skeletor, and those are super cool. You're going to print it and glue it on top of your printer. Well, first we have to get there. And I have a few more I printed. I printed a bunch of them. So there's actually be another purpose for them. So I'll be using those for future videos when time permits for future video goodness. And these parts turned out super pretty. I need to put these in a box. I'm just shoving them on my desk. As prints come off, they just end up on this desk. Dude, Fat Man is hilarious. The fact he's got some like goobers coming out of his mouth and that like crazy chin. Oh, this is such a cool print. Link to the Patreon is in the description of the video. I actually did that for once. I actually remembered. Me, Chris, in an acetone bath. Am I shiny? Are you saying I'm shiny? Did I not put on my pancake makeup? Actually, normally I'm shiny. It's been raining again. So if the sump pump goes off every minute, I apologize because there's Thorben. He's got the link. Yeah, don't be sorry. I have no idea whether you can and can't see that on mobile because I think it's hidden in mobile. You hit that little down arrow. Mobile is weird. I wish they wouldn't hide the description stuff on mobile. Like you have to click the button to read everything. I'm like, but all the pertinent information is there. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, and the STL is broken apart into multiple colors. So MMU Chris is capable, or a palette version. Hey, no problem. Hey, Keith, this is Keith. No problem, dude. I'm glad that the Masumi bearings arrived. I have so many bearings. The number of bearings that are collecting here is tremendous. I don't even have enough printers for all these bearings. But I'm excited to put these on something besides the table. But maybe that'll be the next project. Who knows? We'll put that vote up because we reached 50 patrons. I still don't know how to say it. It's almost unbearable. Yeah, this desk is a mess. This is the state it turns into before every YouTube video. Unbearable. Between the accountability buddies and unbearingable, we're having a good punny day. So keep it up, YouTubers. I'm going to learn all these keywords like smashing like buttons and don't forget to hit the likes. You know, I did go on a date yesterday, so that was good. I went to Schaumburg and we went to the Korean barbecue hut out there and had all you can eat meat that you cook in your own table for $26 a person, which is a very lovely evening. Oh yeah, ring that bell. Yes, for the notifications. I'm really bad at self-marketing. It's like, yeah, this desk is, yeah. There's another Toxic Avenger hiding over here in Fusion Filaments something blue, which is blue is ridiculous. I think it's cool water blue or cold fusion blue or so awesome blue. Well, she lives in Chicago, so I'm an hour and a half away, and she goes to school for the thingies, and both busy. Will there be? I think there'll be just as much time for updates. Man, steakhouse or pizza joint? You know what? I don't know Schaumburg that well, and everything I do know in Schaumburg is like a weird food. Like I know the best Thai restaurant at Thai Garden. I know the dim sum place if you like dim sum. I know the two Korean barbecue restaurants, but pizza and or steak, I have no idea. That blue is made by Fusion Filaments, which are awesome. So if you ever, man, I love all food if it's spicy. So you don't normally, I mean, I love steak. Don't get me wrong. One of my favorite restaurants in town is 640 Meats, which is a butcher that has a deli inside. So they do like sandwiches and burgers. So like when you order a burger, they walk over to their fresh ground beef and they grab a portion of the beef and then they take it in the back and grill it for a burger for you. And they also smoke fresh food on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, meat is a very popular thing. But I do end up in a lot of Asian restaurants because it is one of my favorite things because the variety is insane. Don't forget to smash some subscribers and click on the share button. I'm going to smash some subscribers. I'm Hulk. That's what should be the next veteran print. Oh, he's working on Catwoman right now, and it looks super dope. And now I'm really hungry. I wish I could be hungry. We ate so much marinated beef yesterday, and we had so much spicy pork. And the service is really funny there too. They have a little button on your table, so if you run out of anything, you hit the button, and then all of a sudden they're like, "What do you need?" And you tell them that you want more kimchi, and they'll be like, yeah, more like kimchi breath, man. They make kimchi cucumbers, and I always call them the spicy pickles because they're just basically pickled cucumbers in kimchi, like the kimchi spices and stuff. And I'm like, y'all magic. This is just magic food. Do I have any failed prints? I have I save all my failed prints. There's a huge box down here. There's a lot of headless people. There's a lot of headless people. Don't ask me why, but there's a lot of headless people. And for some odd reason, I was getting X shifts. I was testing out some new motors, and we're getting X shifts everywhere. But now it's fixed. I don't know what I did. Oh, yeah, that's right. Up the current slightly. A lot of headless jokers and headless. A lot of bad prints. Believe me, there's as many mistakes as there are successful prints usually. I try to keep the success ahead of the fails, but there's days where nothing works. Like I'll have so many bad prints, but there's a box. I mean, there's some huge failed prints in there that took like 30 hours, and all of a sudden it's like, meh. And then I'll figure out what I did wrong, and then I'll print again. I'll be fine. So, it's the downfall of constantly changing your printer. I should print my head and put it on Robin, and then take Joseph's head and put him on Batman, and be like, ha ha. Or get Veteran to make a bearded fat man, because that would work. Because just make him bald, So yeah, there's definitely a crate. Maybe one day I'll take the box out and pour it on the ground and take a cool picture of me and my failed prints, because there's another full box of failed prints over there. Ooh, you cannot use the Mark 2.5S on the Bear X-axis. The X-axis is very specific to the Bear. The bearing alignment is slightly different, and I think that's about it. Phil, the idea with the failed prints is to eventually get one of those grinders that grinds it up and then make my own filament from the waste. Again, another project that has not moved forward. So I just have a lot of failed print boxes. Yeah, it's always weird. Like when things work out too good, you just wonder like if everything is, that there's no reason to ever change anything. And then all of a sudden things start failing. You're like, yeah, okay. Now there's a challenge. Now let's figure out what it does. Yeah, it ended up being just motor current. It was just a new motor and it needed like 50 more milliamps. And now, yeah, something like a Phil Schroeder. That's definitely the one I've been looking at. But then I don't really have the best setup for it. I have this very cold basement. So maybe a maker space in the future that has heat that's constantly. Ooh, I haven't seen the new filament maker on Make Anything. I will have to take a look at that. I haven't been keeping up on my YouTube video watching either. I've been mostly watching history on video gaming and this guy called the Wolf Pit who reviews dollar food from the dollar food place and rates it on how good and or how horrible it is, which I find super fascinating because I'm one of those people that love to go to crazy restaurants all the time. So it's like, Brandon, I don't know. I'd love to open a makerspace. This town definitely needs something different. Thurman, that's not a bad idea. Ewan Todd, he's running IGIS on carbon fiber rods with success. I would love to test some carbon fiber rods. So it's on again the list. Maybe we should add that to the list. I can rewatch this video and find all the things I said I should add to lists. Oh, there's a lot. I can't even see. They used to have, like, I used to be able to look and see how many viewers I had. I can't see the number of viewers I have anymore. It's just like completely gone from the land of my screen. So YouTube, if you could fix that. And what's up with Facebook today? I can't do anything. I have a memes chat and I can't post any memes to it because if I send a photo on Messenger, it just freaks out. So, well, 62 isn't bad. We've been higher. Sweet. Make anything. You know, I should do like a list. Oh, I haven't been on Instagram. I really need to do the Instagram thing. I normally post my photography stuff there, but it just hasn't been. Had a wedding last weekend, and so I was gone all weekend. So I was out in Starved Rock at the frozen waterfalls, doing photos of a couple because they got married. So that makes sense. It was a couple. It'd be odd if it was one person getting married. And Facebook owns Instagram. No, Twitter. Yeah, they own Instagram and Twitter. Right? No, I know they own Instagram because of the same policy between the two. Like, you can't post all these same things. Ooh. Just Instagram. That's good. I don't use the Twitter too much. It ends up being kind of weird. I will post some neat prints there every once in a while. I haven't, and WhatsApp. Facebook owns all of those things, Instagram and WhatsApp. That just sounds silly. Yeah, you know, YouTube is weird, man. It's. I have subscribed to many awesome video people, and I hit the bell icon, and I get nothing for notifications. Shane from Prusa did a lot of videos, and I'm sitting there like, I hit the bell icon. I've confirmed the bell icon is hit, and every time he did a live stream, it just never said anything. Maybe it just hates live streams. Who knows? Because I mostly do live streams, but I do have some actual recorded videos, and I have, maybe I'll share that. I have the first recorded video that the person that's editing and helping me shoot video is done. I could share that. Ooh, an Oculus Rift. What? Oh no. Yeah, I most of the stuff I get notifications for on YouTube tend to be channels I don't really watch much anymore, which is odd. Because I'd really like to get notifications on all of the things that I subscribe to, which does get daunting. That's why I don't have notifications turned on Twitter, because sometimes you'll get tagged on something and then 42 people comment on it and you end up with 42 notifications, which is a lot of notifications. Facebook, I still leave it on. If that makes anyone feel any better, I get less Facebook notifications than I do on Twitter, and I'm not really on Twitter. So, yeah, I forgot about that. But man, that thing, maybe they should do like a once a day. There should be there's a bunch of other apps that do that. Like, you can select how often it sends you updates. So you're gonna merge all the. I do like Facebook Messenger. I think that's the best thing Facebook has ever done in the recent years. Is definitely the Messenger. I mean, they can kind of halt changing things for a while and just kind of leave it. But at least it works when it does. Not today. It's not working today. I can't send my memes, and that makes me sad. We actually had people like, I guess I got to do work today instead of going on the meme chat today. And I'm like, yeah, I guess we do. That sucks. AOL. I miss AOL Messenger. Shane's YouTube channel. That's a good question. He hasn't done anything in a while. He's been so busy. So busy. I actually haven't talked to him in like a month. Shane, if you see this, I miss you, man. I'll hit you up on the Facebook Messenger right now. I'm actually gonna say hi, Shane. So Shane, miss you. Okay, I feel better now. YouTube and search. He hasn't posted anything in a while, so maybe that's why. Shane, we'll look at my subscriptions. Nope. I'll go look at my subscription list. And dun 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 dun. No, it's not on here. Am I not? Sometimes I feel that. Sometimes I feel that YouTube just don't. Shane from Prusa Research apparently is his YouTube. His last one was 3 months ago. It's been a while. Ooh, ICQ chat was so much fun. Have you know Shane? Yeah, Shane should be. It's Wednesday, so he should be on chat on support right now. I do have them on hand, and the correct bearing number is, let's see here. Is this the correct one? No, it's quantity 4. I need the one that's quantity 6. They are SB3D LM8UU. SB3D LM8UU. Thomas, the good news is all of the nozzles have arrived to our test lab. I think that was on Monday or Sunday. But our test guy, Mark, who's one of our mods, he is sick with the flu. So he can't go into work, because in some places when you're sick, they don't tell you to come into work, especially when you work in a lab. It's probably the best thing not to contaminate everything with your diseases. Ooh, the difference between the Mark III and Mark 2.5 is simple. If you don't have a Mark III, you have to print the Mark 2.5 one, because there's a little arm that sticks out and hits the end stop. So the Mark III has no end stops, so it has sensorless homing. So definitely, if you're doing a Mark 2.5 or Mark II, and you're not using Trinamic drivers and not trying to calibrate the sensorless homing, which can be a pain, I would definitely go with using end stops if your board so takes end stops, like an INC Retro, which would be awesome as a Mark 2.5 board. Yeah, one of my two Nozzle X's is in the hands of Mark. So, Mark, do that nozzle well and sit it in the scope and zoom in at 104,000% and tell me how awesome it is. Oh, man. Yeah, I've noticed that the Patreon notifications work. Like if I look at my phone now, oh, there's Brandon added a $10. Oh, wow, my emails went crazy. So we've added Brandon and Joel and Joshua and Gavin and Thomas and Ben and Steven and Ian and Phil and Jeff and Staff Smith, aka Thorben. Hey, Thorben. And Jared and Jesus Louise, Justin and Riot and Derek. I'm going to delete those emails. Should probably not have it sent to the email. I guess it's fine. It doesn't bother me. My emails, that email doesn't send me notifications. I just open it up and there's 400 emails. All right, what do we got here? John Sneeze Boogers. That is the cure to the common cold. John Sneeze Boogers with alpha omegas. Yeah, I ended up not having the best luck with my Nozzle X. Not to say that they aren't awesome, because there's plenty of proof that they do print just fine and dandy. I've been having really good success with the Slice vanadium nozzle, which is the Nozzle X that came out a year ago. I didn't even know about it. Like, the marketing was huge here because it's the same lifetime warranty, same anti-filament coating, same nickel plating, same same gets harder as it gets hotter steel, but it came out last year. So there goes. Basically, E3 and Nozzle X is a clone of another nozzle. They look identical in terms of the color when you have them side by side. It's pretty fantastic. Hey, you had to, of course. I had to too. Romper Room. I do not remember Romper Room. I think I spent most of my time in IRC, AOL Instant Messenger. I think I had Trillion. Trillion was my go-to because Trillion could have IRC chat and AOL Instant Messenger and MSN. Oh God, MSN Messenger and Skype chat. And I think, you know, that was like the one shoe fits all chat thingy that I had back in the days when, you know, MSN still had a messenger. Ooh. Tony, if you go for an INC, go for the INC Retro, because then you can just keep the end stops, and programming that board would be much easier. There's something new. No, there's absolutely nothing new on the INC Rambo for the MK3S. It's the same board. They just changed the cable for the filament sensor because it's a 3-wire cable instead of a 4-wire cable. You feel a disturbance in the force. Yeah, Trillion was definitely the best thing ever that came out, and I wish it was something like it today for all these chats. Like, I'd love to just log in and be able to go to Facebook chat and Discord and you know, like all my different chats, and just be able to have them all. But sadly, I don't think that could be a thing today. Pigeon, wow. Yeah, there's oh, MSN did suck. That was a horrible chat thing. And I had random people that just like, oh, I use MSN chat. I'm like, why? Like, just get instant messenger. Oh, that thing's bad. I'm like, okay, well, we're all here in AOL chat, instant messenger. You rebel, you. Oh, Captain Kangaroo. All right. Well, now that we're well beyond the talking of awesome Patreon things, oh, someone needs to start a Patreon to make a all-encompassing Trillion remix that has like Instagram chat and Facebook Messenger and yeah. Michael, I wish I knew why Google did anything besides be a, I mean, their phone thing, good job. Their Android OS, awesome. Their search, great. Google Places and Google whatever, y'all, what was that thing called? I don't remember anymore. You had to have it to have Google Places because as a business, you had to have an account for that, which was dumb. Like, oh, here we'll force businesses to have these Google accounts. But yeah. Yeah, Tristan, you can use the same one to switch to sensorless homing because it doesn't interfere with anything. So, but and as someone who's never tuned sensorless homing, I wish you much luck. Dude, printer chat would be awesome. I would support a Patreon for someone who wants to make. I mean, I guess Discord's been kind of the place where a lot of people have gone for that because it's just a really good chat. I would still love, and I guess Slack. That's what Prusa's using. They use a Slack account for all their, different, this team, that team, feedback, beta test, whatever. That's all, in Slack. But unfortunately, you have to pay for all the cool stuff. Like Slack without money is bad-ish good. And Slack, when you spend a bunch of money, is apparently really amazing because I really liked it. I suggested it a while ago, and they're like, you do know, Chris, that's the paid version that they're using, and it's really nice because it's a lot of money. I'm like, damn it. Why do all good things cost something? Slacking. Ooh. Two printers can talk amongst each other, and they can figure out what they're printing next. I am on the 602 Wasteland, I believe it's called. I was much more active on it earlier. I've just been so busy. So I haven't been really on the Discord lately. And I believe it's just 602 the Wasteland. Yes, the 602 Wasteland is the Discord. It's super awesome. There's like these hyper intelligent humans on there that do some incredible things, and I love following it. I just haven't followed it recently, so I haven't really commented on there in like a couple, 2-3 weeks. What up, Pete? Welcome to the Messy Desk channel, where we have nothing but messy desks and orange flavored seltzer water. I hope this intrigues you highly. That's another thing. I need to set up my MMU too. Yes, Gwildor, that was the Slice Engineering Vanadium nozzle, which is the exact same thing. No, yeah, I don't really drink too much. Yesterday's dinner, I did have soju, which is so instead of using regular potatoes to make vodka, they use sweet potato, which makes it a little sweeter, and then they flavor it ridiculously. So I had a green grape flavored soju, which is basically Korean sake that was flavored of green grape. It tastes like Welch's grape juice, which was delicious with a hint of alcohol in it. And it was 14%. And I had about a third of that small little sake bottle of it. Because I don't really drink much, if at all. I already did all that in the past. I already did all the drinking. I don't need to, continue that fun time I already had. I probably look like a guy who sits there with a PBR. So every day, all day. So, yeah, Polar Seltzer is really good. And it's really inexpensive. It's like a 24 pack for like $3.50 out here. So yeah. And I am definitely a lightweight now. Like before I wasn't a lightweight, but now it's just like, we do the drink and draws and I bring my printer sometimes and I'll have like one drink and I'm like, I'm good. I need to stop and eat a snack. Ooh. So Phil over here teaching us the languages of Korean. Soju is the rice instead of sake equals rice, but soju in Korean and shochu in Japan. Vanadium. I drink and I'm like, wee, something. Yeah, it was kind of like that yesterday. It was a hilarious time. It was a really good day. We also went to the arcade afterwards. So there's in West Dundee, there's a 2-story arcade. And I mean, like arcade, not like Redemption, where you claw games and modern games, which are just shooters, like Time Crisis. But no, this was a legit 2-story arcade in West Dundee called Underground Retrocade. So downstairs is Atari, Namco, and some other random brands, and you go upstairs, it's all fighting games, a 6-player X-Men arcade, the 4-player first, no, not really, maybe second, I guess, maybe. Man, I don't know. In this day and age, like, it used to be much more linear when I was younger. I'm in my mid-30s now, and when I was in my teens, the relationships were much more linear. It's like, you talk, and then you have a date, and then you have more dates, and then eventually, you're dating. Now it's all like, I have no idea what's going on, and someday, hopefully, the Facebook, you change your relationship status to dating, and then it means you're dating, I guess. I no idea. This is why 3D printing is so much easier, because like, if a print fails, you fix it. If your relationship isn't going well, I have no idea what's going on. So why did your Facebook status change to not dating me anymore? Well, that's how it's done. Here's your text message. Hold everything. I'm holding. We won't talk about anything important. So what's the most important thing we can talk about while Pete's gone? Good night, Super Happy George. Hey, what's up, red light? Green light. I remember playing that game. Do people still play that game? Bruce's tagline isn't, it's complicated. Actually, what's funny, today is actually the 1-year anniversary of Joseph and I being friends on Facebook. Joseph Prusa, happy 1-year anniversary. Hopefully I haven't caused you too many gray hairs in the last 12 months. Ghosting, that's true. Ghosting, catfishing. I heard catfishing's a thing. I don't know if I've been catfished yet. I don't go on the websites. The Tinder, that's a thing, right? Tinder, that's a thing. I don't know. What's up, Chiral Symmetry? Actually, I do have a t-shirt I will be launching. I need to take that to the printer. I will post about that on the Patreon. Swipe up. I'm more of a swipe down kind of guy. No, yeah, I do have a t-shirt that's in the works. I had my buddy design up a t-shirt that was super cool. It's kind of Prusa specific, but I think anyone in the 3D printer world would probably understand it. At least most people. Swipe nozzle. They should do a dating chat for you, or not dating. They should do an app where you pick your favorite printers. Like, here's the Creality CR10 Mini. Swipe left or right. What up, Peter? I love being on the YouTube live chat when we just talk about random nonsense. Now that all the important stuff's done, people are going to watch this video and be like, Chris, your video was only important for the first 10 minutes. Then after that, it just got good. Oh my gosh. That, and they had the one too for like rate my face or rate how I look. And that was a thing for a while. Yeah, swipe your credit. Do you like this printer? Swipe your credit card or swipe left. That should be the Prusa's website thing. Hot or Not. That's right. Hotornot.com. And I think they made an app for like a hot minute, but that was before apps were make sense. I think it was just mostly ads on it. So, good. I will not get anyone to spend any money. Hopefully, well, God, this is the video on Patreon. So, when we get to 100 patrons, that would be this cool mini of me released to the wild. Look, it looks just like me. Made by a veteran. It's even got my belly. And my head's bald, so I look like a giant peanut. Q Rolling sponsors list brought to you by, what do I got here? Duet 3D and Paramount 3D and Vedran and apparently Igus. Yep, Igus. And Vesconite and Atomic CF Filaments. And more atomic filament and Xanax and Poland Spring. Oh, and Polar seltzer water and this spring. The spring for the clock thing that everyone's printing. Which, am I printing more parts for that? Yep, they just finished. So that's going to go in a box. Yeah, Nick, I try to do the oddball videos. And, you know, I never want to do printer review videos because those are just easy. That's just telling people how much something sucks or is super awesome is actually pretty easy because most of that to me is personal. Like, I voice my negative opinions on Prusa stuff when I can and when they make sense. You know, it's with anything. But I'd still rate them extremely high up on the list, like an 8 or 9 out of 10, which they'll never be a 10 out of 10 printer for me. I don't think things are going to progress and numbers will change. But, I never wanted to do videos on, just like a product because it just feels dirty sometimes. But there's fun ways to make product videos. Just nobody does it in the printing world yet. Because it's more focused on like the one, there are some really good ones though. And I need to actually do a link of all my favorite YouTube channels because there's some really good filament reviews from guys that are doing, and I can never remember names. Chuck does some really good stuff, and all the crazy things Chris does in his basement. Not this Chris in his basement, the other Chris in his basement, the one with hair. Chris with hair in his basement does some really good videos on things. And it's like every other day there's a super awesome video on things, and that's what I love about Chris Riley, yeah, in the basement. Chris Riley's videos is because it's things that I want to do. Is like, look, here's this 32-bit board. Let's put Marlin 2.0 on. I'm like, that's what I want to learn. I'm kind of burnt out on. Here's this printer from wherever. Let's take a look at it. Yep, it's a printer. Nah. I'm more like nerding out on stuff. Like if someone were to make a video on like new rods or new bearings or something, that makes me happy. So, the Delta Duet, the Duet is working. So I got that far. So I recrimped everything. So Duet actually has different connectors, and they include all the connectors you need. Like here's my little bag of leftover connectors. So for proper termination, they have all their own little connectors. So I terminated everything. I tested all the testings. I installed some firmware, and it all works. But now I'm in the middle of a debate. Do I go with a Duet effector and then also raise the Z height? Because I think I priced it out for $250. I can add a duet effector, which is going to give me magnetic arms and all this other fun features. And also magnetic arms, and also to add a whole bunch of Z height. So instead of 300, it should be closer to 500 Z height on this printer for around $300 is what it would cost. So I'm in a quandary, which usually happens when I'm building things, which is why I wanted to build this thing ahead of time. You know, the only downfall is it's only a 12 volt printer, but you know, it'll work. Yeah, another Ender review, which basically I'm glad there's so many good reviews on the Ender because it's a really good beginner printer. And it's not even a beginner printer. It prints really well. Like, you don't have to be a beginner to enjoy an Ender. But yeah, they are a little beaten up, you know. I just saw some really good videos on like the A20M from G-Tech and a couple other printers. So those oddball reviews are really nice. Like, I would love to see more oddball videos. I'm always searching nice rods on YouTube. Yeah, it's going to be definitely a horrible day if you start searching that. Yeah, and I don't plan on doing reviews in the sense of reviews. I will be doing some other fun things that are kind of review-like for filament. That's definitely going to be in the future. But I'd like to do more of a comparison versus saying this brand is awesome. You should buy this brand because look at the printing. I'd rather do something more comparative and something more substantial in a review form versus just like rating it like 1 out of 5 and going like, this is a 4. This pink filament 4. This black filament 4.5. Out of what? I don't know. I'm just giving them random numbers. But we don't. I haven't seen too many like really in-depth filament reviews either. There's some very general ones like, do I like this? Yes. So, and yeah, definitely more. I'd love to push the modded printers more, and hopefully that's what the Patreon does. Is we'll see where it shifts. You know, I'm at your disposal. Nerds in general build the same thing every week. But yeah, it would be nice to have, you know, a combination of really cool mods and the process to get there. That's why I'm testing this Duet Delta, because it just is so much more fun than building another Prusa. Like, don't get me wrong, I love building another Prusa. I'd love to do a challenge video, like have a bunch of other YouTubers build a Prusa live and see who builds it the fastest, because it'd just be a fun video. It'd just be a fun time too. But, you know, like kind of like 1UP. There should be a 24-hour 3D printing charity thing. Like, here's this really hard to build printer. There's no directions to 24 hours build it. Bear 22.20. Yeah. I think it's over $3,000 a month, Tristan. Yeah, hot rodding car, same thing. Oh, it's definitely going to stay primarily Prusa because that's what I know. But I'd love to spice it up a little bit and throw like a random thing in. But I think 90% of this is still going to be Prusa and things that can go Prusa or something else. I'd love there to be some things like that would be more than just Prusa related. So, but yeah, I still want to keep it because that's still my favorite brand. I've had other printers. I had a CR10. I had a Monoprice. I had what else did I have? I had other things. I have this Delta here, but I don't want to pull the focus away from Prusa. It'll definitely be still 90% Prusa. You know, I have more slicer videos because I don't know if you guys seen the latest alphas, but they're so good. Build a Prusa blindfolded. Yeah, $3,000 a month on Patreon, Tristan. That is a good chunk of patrons. Yeah, random thing could be Railcore. I would love to build a Railcore on live stream. You know, I'd love to be able to do like a Murph video. So as I was driving to Schaumburg to go get dinner, I realized that Highwind is on the way on the highway. So I can literally, I'd love to stop off at Highwind and be like, let's talk about linear rails. Midwest Tungsten is an hour away. I'd love to stop by and be like, hey, let's talk about nozzles and tungsten. Let's talk both McMaster-Carr and Misumi are within an hour and 20 minutes of me. So I'd love to just stop off and like have a tour of look at all this stuff. Like, can we look at all the bearings you have? Yeah. 3D Mark, yes, I have one on order. So an SL1 will be in my future. I'm waiting like everybody else. I'm like sitting back here like, hurry up, because there's a photon that just died last month. So and I have 2 prints I need to make. So Peter Gorel, I'm so sorry you don't have your print ready yet. The thing's dead. So whatever. It's a $500 printer, and it seriously outlasted longer than I thought it would, and it printed a lot better than I thought it would for a $500 SLA printer. So I really can't complain. Yeah, like I'd love to do more mods, like sit down with Vedran and be like, hey, let's mod up a new Mosquito hot end for the Mark 3S, because the hot end's awesome. Someone already told me that they're going to donate $2 a month or something, so that way I can get waffles. Their entire fund out of their thing is to get me waffles, and I don't really eat them that much. I do order them. I did get a Stroop waffle in with my Pro box from Filament One came in, and it had a Stroop waffle in it and a 32 gig micro SD card and 2 spools of filament for $45. That was a heck of a deal, and it was one of my favorite colors was in that box. Hello, Siri. Hey, Siri, can you call the Underpants Gnomes? Oh, look, rain started again in Rockford. It's 40 degrees out and raining, and it is just horrible weather. Yeah, if you haven't seen the Filament One Pro box, that thing is insanity. $45 a month, 2 full kilograms, so 2 1 kilogram spools of their choice, and a gift of some sort in the box. First box impressed me because it was the gray glint, traffic black, and a 32 gig micro SD card. So for $45. And it came with a Stroop waffle, like a single caramel Stroop waffle, which I'm not going to say no. So if they throw a Stroop waffle in every box and that's their deal, like Prusa puts gummy bears in there, you can throw as many Stroop waffles in there as you want. I'll keep me coming back. Phase 2. I have no idea. What is Phase 2? Phase 2 is drinking more orange flavored polar water. Ooh, that's good. Man, I don't have anything else. Man, if you want full spools of filament and you're in the United States, I think that's the best deal for full spools. I know that Push Plastics just launched their spool thing, and Josh, who's one of our mods, he got his in, and his box was actually pretty good. They threw in some random cool stuff. Like he wanted one that was more exotic filaments, and that one included some like ASA and some other like interesting filaments. Filament One for me was awesome because I do love printing PLA and I do really like their filament. So for me to get 2 kilograms of really good filament that, you know, there's no color that they have that I'd hate to have for that price. I mean, that's a little over, you know, 20 something dollars a roll for, you know, shipped. So, you know, and there's normally $30 for their filament, and it's good filament. Like, I can't complain. Like, I print a lot with their filament. So for me, I think that's the best one. They don't have a ton of filament though, so you might run out of stuff after a while, but they keep adding more colors. Mark, definitely. There will be Patreon specific things. So if I do a call for help, you know, like an episode where we just talk about stuff to help fix printer issues, it would definitely be done for the patrons, and it would include the patrons, and then I would post the video publicly afterwards. Because again, I don't want to hide anything, but giving the sole rights to asking those questions to patrons is definitely fine by me. Like letting them be the directors versus you know, not. So Steel Underpants faced. Oh, that's right. Captain Underpants. That was such a good movie. I love man, I have a weird thing. I love scary movies and Disney movies, or anything that's like a DreamWorks flick or something like that. They it's kind of like the light to the dark. You got to have your opposites. So um yeah, Push Plastics is really nice. I've had some issues with their PLA being brittle. Other than that, it's not bad. They do they were the first ones in the United States that did the master spool. Now I get all my master spool stuff from somebody else. Who am I ordering my master spools? Oh yeah, 3D Solutech has been my go-to for master spool stuff. Even though they don't use the master spool, but it's really decent filament for the price. Oh, Tristan, I know. I can only imagine the guy who writes a book called Captain Underpants to be a pretty interesting fellow. Oscar, you gotta stop being in Mexico, man. And actually, you know what? We need to move all the printing stuff to Mexico because it's warmer there than here, and it's probably not raining and 40 degrees. So, yeah, and the Alien box is awesome, and the Maker box. I mean, if you want samples, just straight up samples of filament, Maker box. Alien box, I love their project box. I do that every month, and I've only done 2 of the projects. But I would really love to do more of the projects. But that's a nice thing that I can do the projects on the Patreon. I just re-upped my Maker box, so I'd love to share like what filaments come in every month and print stuff with it. Oh, and tequila, yeah. Peter, yeah, you're on Facebook. Facebook Messenger me, and then I'll get a chat with you. And if you have one for the bear, that'd be cool too, because I'm bringing my fancy bear to Murph. So I'd like to pimp it out a little bit more. Yeah, Brandon, that tends to be the issue too. I have a Maker coin, which I don't think I ever posted on. So I guess I'll post that someday to the Patreon. Gosh, you are patrons. I run a Patreon. Oh boy, this is gonna get hard. Yeah, it'd be super awesome. Like I want to put cool lights on my bear. Like that just it there's so many options to mount stuff on the bear. You know, like I've got my camera mount on it right now, and I mounted a temperature and humidity sensor on my bear just because, you know, why not? That's the whole point of V-Slot, is just to start attaching cool things to it, and it doesn't make it any worse. The frame is so sturdy, adding random stuff on there doesn't hurt it any. And there's so many possibilities of mounting. You know, shoot, you can mount 2. It'd be rude not to. Heck monkey. Yeah, I'll have both again. I had the Maker box for a while, and again I had the same thing. I didn't know what to print with the samples. But I think I will find a way to print something with those samples. Nick, did it improve the printer? The bare parts for me improve the are basically a quality of life upgrade. So being able to remove certain parts more easily and having a better belt tensioner and just having a system that was very inexpensive to make the printer more rigid and accessible was a huge bonus to me. The Mark III frame is awesome. It's a great upgrade compared to the Mark IIS frame. But in the long run, that super sturdy frame is just so easy. The customization is nice. Were there improvements? I did get better prints, but it wasn't like 180. My prints were bad. I already had good prints coming in. So it's, again, it's not a miracle upgrade as with anything. Tristan, you just described the tool changer from E3D, that $3,000 tool changer thing they built. Oh no, Gwildor, don't be an adult. Hey, what's up, Jim? Not Jim, Jason. I saw Yimming and I'm like, Jim, but it's not. It's Jason from LDO. 62. What am I going to do with all that? We have to get to 100. There's a tiny print of me that everyone needs. Ooh, paddleboarding. Man, I wish it was warm. You're just making me jelly. At least the time change. I know a lot of people hate the time change, but as someone from the Midwest that actually likes to go outside, having that daylight an extra hour is way better than that hour of sleep. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I'll eventually make up that hour of sleep, but yeah, I would rather not. That's another option, Brandon. Einstein is easy enough. I have one in a box up there, and I have one on my desk over there. Oh, there's so many things down here that I want to build. I just keep looking at projects. Still haven't built my giant bear, my 250 millimeter bear. Should have just stacked all my not finished projects on the table. There'd be no table. I mean, there's no table right now. There's definitely no room. Good. There's no projects on my side table, and there's projects on the floor in boxes organized. So at least something's done right. I have some organization. All right. Is there anything else? Anything else anybody needs before I run away? I think I'm going to grab me some dinner. It is 7:30 here. The sun has set. I only had lunch because I forgot breakfast because I had to run out and get my hair cut and then have a meeting and then I had to drop off a phone that was left in my car. Because that's what happens when you bring friends to the arcade. They leave their phone in their car. Which is always hilarious. Like, that's your lifeline. Start over. Steve started a Patreon. There's a link in the description. I have 2 posts. There's a hello post that kind of goes over the basics. I have a money post that talks about how the money that I make from the Patreon is going to be used. Basic gist is everyone is a voice. So it's basically a more personal way to work on these projects I'm always working on, between slicer profiles and random print projects and testings of things. So it'll be more of the personal outlet for that versus flooding the Prusa community Facebook page with constant, like, I've always had this issue with starting a project and then get really interested in another project. So I have like 9 projects lined up, maybe more. There might be more than 9. I'll list them out eventually. And then I finish them eventually. It just, they don't get, you know, oh, you were kidding. Oh man. It's too long. Skip the last 30 minutes. This is true. But the last 30 minutes is most entertaining. I can talk for a while. It's I work with people and shoot weddings, so I have to talk with people. I have to make conversation and make people smile for about 10 hours a day straight. So it's a earned skill. Yeah, I definitely rewatched a few of mine too, which is really funny. I'm like, did I really say that? I do have to rewatch this one because I think Kevin Clack needs a shout out for dependability buddies or something. Damn, I already forgot what it is. See, that's how bad it is. So bad my memory can be. I'm gonna see if I can scroll through and find it again. Kevin Clack, you're the famous one today. Dun dun dun. Wait. I'll find it eventually. Oh man, I can't go back that far in chat. Too long don't watch. Too long don't read. Accountability buddies. That's what it is. Accountability buddies. So Kevin Clack and accountability buddies. I love it. Wait, I can just rewatch this and figure out why I was going through the chat. So yeah, okay. I'm gonna run away. Know that I appreciate all of you. 62. We gotta get to that one number everyone giggles at. 7 more to the giggle number. Giggle number. But yeah, that's basically the gist. I think I've explained it and had a fun side conversation, but thank you. Appreciate it. I'll start. We're at 50, so I got to post a list of what YouTube video we want to see next. So I'll put a poll up with a whole bunch of videos that I've been wanting to do and even take some suggestions for some new ones. Maybe we'll put up a suggestion first. So I'll throw up a suggestion post first so everyone can so I can get an idea of what everyone wants to see, and I'll also add what I have. So I'll be like, this is someone that I have. Comment in some of that, and then I'll do a poll. So Magic Goo for life. I can't wait to put Magic Goo on my printer. It's going to print so well. Makes those layer lines invisible. Put goo all over my print. So thank you. Good night. Stay out of trouble. And we'll see you hopefully next week. I'll have time to make an actual video. It's going to be busy. I've got 2 very important things coming up for photo shoots. So time crunch. So good night. And don't forget to use your Magic Goo for all your bed adhesion needs. No, or just, don't, I guess. Buy PEI. You don't need goos unless you're printing nylon. Then you need glue. Purple glue stick is my favorite. Tagline. Buy PEI. You don't need sticks of magic. So good night and thank you.